Hey, family. Hope all is well. And from all of us here at Monarch Entertainment Studios, we want to say Happy New Year's to everyone. We all hope that you had a great, prosperous holiday season. And we want to welcome you all to the first episode of King's Creations with Nick of 2026. So, that being said, as you can see, we're going to be making some delicious vanilla bean cupcakes. And this frosting here, this is a white chocolate peppermint buttercream frosting. And so the next few videos is going to be things that we baked over the holiday season. So that being said, let's get into this episode. But before that, let's drop that intro. All right, y'all. So here are the ingredients that we're going to be using for today's recipe. This is the ingredients for the vanilla bean cupcakes. We're going to do the ingredients for the buttercream frosting separately. And so we're going to start with cake flour. So I'm using Swan's Down. You're going to also need some baking powder, baking soda, salt, granulated sugar, eggs, vegetable oil, sour cream. This is 2 sticks of unsalted butter. You're gonna also need some whole milk. And right here are our flavorings. I have some vanilla bean paste. I purchased this off of Amazon. We also have some vanilla, cake batter extract, and of course our cupcake muffin liners. So let's go ahead and look at the ingredients for the buttercream frosting. Okay, so here's the ingredients that we're going to be using for our white chocolate peppermint buttercream frosting. And so, of course, we're going to start with the powdered sugar. You're going to need a great deal of powdered sugar for this recipe. We also have 4 sticks of unsalted butter. Right here, we have some premium white chocolate chips. And then right here, we also have some salt, peppermint extract, and that's pure peppermint extract. We have some vanilla extract, vanilla bean paste, some heavy whipping cream, and these are some Christmas themed sprinkles that we're going to be using. And so we can go ahead and look at our equipment that we're going to be using for this recipe. All right, so here's the equipment or utensils that we're going to be using for today's recipe. Everything here is pretty much straightforward, what we use in all our other recipes. The only thing that's new here is our piping tips, because we will be doing some decoration for these cupcakes. So outside of that, everything is straightforward. So what we're going to do is get started on our dry ingredients. So we're going to go ahead and get started on our dry ingredients. And so what I have here is 3 cups of Swan's Down cake flour. And so in order to make sure that you're getting the correct measurements, it's always good for you to pour in the dry ingredients into the measuring cup or the measuring spoon. Not to pack it, not to scoop it out. This pour it in because it's going to give you the best measurements, and so or the most accurate measurements. And so what we're going to add here now is 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And so I'm going in with my first teaspoon and my second teaspoon. So you're gonna have to forgive me because I actually was watching a movie while I was baking, and so I kind of got distracted and almost forgot to add in my half teaspoon. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that here. So that is in total 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So now we're going to make it move on to our baking soda. And so we're going to only use a half teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm just going to scoop and level our measuring spoon off and then add in that baking soda. So last but not least, we're going to add in our salt. And so we're going to only use a half teaspoon of salt. So as you see, I'm pouring it in, leveled off, and then pour it into the sifter. So now I'm just going to sift these ingredients, and so we'll be back once we're done sifting. All right, so we're almost done sifting our ingredients, and so some of you may be wondering why do I sift my ingredients so much? It's because it really helps the cake be more lighter and fluffier because you're actually incorporating air into your ingredients when you're sifting it. Also, it helps to get rid of lumps and things like that. And so that's why we sift our ingredients. And so what I'm doing here is just taking our whisk and mixing it up just to make sure everything's incorporated. All right, so now we're going to start creaming our butter, sugar, and oil. So what I have here is 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter. So I'm just going to add that into our stand mixer. And you want to make sure that this butter is at room temperature because this really makes mixing the ingredients a lot easier. So this right here is a half cup of oil, and that's this vegetable oil. You could use canola oil if you wish to do that. So what we're going to do is go ahead and close our stand mixer up and turn this on to a medium speed. And we're just going to allow this to mix for probably about a minute. So after this mix, we're going to start adding in our sugar. So we'll be back. Now that our butter and oil has been mixing for about a minute, we're going to go ahead and add in our sugar. And so make sure that you're just gradually adding that into your stand mixer while the stand mixer is still going. And so after you incorporate all your sugar, you're going to want to turn your stand mixer up to the highest speed. And you're going to allow that to mix for about 4 minutes. And so we'll be back. All right, so our butter, sugar, and oil has been creaming for about 4 minutes. And so we're going to turn our stand mixer off and we're going to scrape down the sides of our bowl. You want to make sure that you're doing that periodically just to make sure that all the butter and sugar and oil is been fully mixed in. All right, so as you see, our mixture is pale and it's fluffy, and so that's how you know that it's to that consistency that we're looking for. So now we're going to add in our flavoring, starting with our vanilla bean paste. We're going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of vanilla bean paste. And so I bought this brand of vanilla bean paste from off of Amazon. All right, and so we're going to add that in. All right, so now we're going to add in our vanilla extract. And so we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So this recipe, this is a vanilla bean cupcake, and so we're all going to be using both vanilla bean paste and vanilla extract because you really want that vanilla taste to pop. And so last but not least, we're going to add in our cake batter extract. Now this is optional, but I do find that adding in this cake batter extract really gives the cupcakes a pop in taste. So now that you've added all of those in, you're gonna mix on medium speed for about another minute, and then we'll be back when we start incorporating our eggs. All right, so now that our butter, sugar, and oil, and all of our flavorings are mixed together, we're gonna, of course, scrape down the sides of our bowl. You just want to make sure that you're doing that. And now we're going to incorporate our eggs and egg whites. And so this recipe use both whole eggs and also egg whites. And so we're going to turn our stand mixer back on to like a medium speed. And we're going to incorporate our 3 large eggs. And it's good to make sure that these eggs are at room temperature. And so as you see here, you want to add in 1 egg at a time, allowing each egg to mix in before adding the next. All right, so now we're going to go in with our final whole egg. And we're going to allow that to mix in. And then we're going to go in with our egg whites. And so adding in egg whites is going to really allow the cupcakes to be more fluffier and lighter. And going to help them to rise a little bit more. And so now that we've added in that, we're going to go ahead and allow that to mix for just a few more seconds. And then we're going to move on to our dry and wet ingredients. Okay, so what I have here is 3/4 cup of whole milk. And then I also have 1 cup of sour cream. And both of those are at room temperature. So what I'm going to do is just put the sour cream into the same measuring cup with the whole milk. I'm just going to mix those in together because we kind of want it to be one wet mixture and then one dry mixture. So that's why I'm mixing in both of the wet ingredients. All right, so I'm just taking the whisk and just mixing this in slightly. All right, so now it's time for us to start adding in our dry and wet ingredients. And so as you know here, we always start with our dry ingredients. And so we're going to add in about a third of that and then close our stand mixer and turn this on to a low speed. And you're going to allow that to mix in. And once you see that the flour has been mixed in, you're going to add in half of your wet mixture. All right, so you can go ahead and stop your stand mixer. Scrape down the sides of your bowl. Make sure you're doing that just to make sure that everything is being properly mixed. All right, so we're gonna do is add in another third of our flour mixture. All right, and so we're gonna turn our stand mixer back on and just briefly mix this for a few seconds until you see that flour mixed in, and then you're gonna go in with the final or the remaining of your wet mixture. All right, so go ahead and turn your stand mixer off. We're gonna go ahead and add in the remaining of the remainder of our dry mixture, and we're gonna mix that until you see all that mixed in, and then you want to go ahead and turn your stand mixer off. It's very important that you do not overmix your batter. All right, so our wet batter is done. All right, so here's our cake batter. It is all done. I'm just giving it a final stir with our whisk. And so what I'm going to do now, and I've already lined our muffin pans with our cupcake liners, and I'm using a cookie scoop to fill each of the liners. And so I'm kind of filling them up, I would say about 2/3 of the way. You want to make sure that you don't overfill your cupcake liners because the batter will spill over when it's baking. It will spill over and create a mess. And so prevent that. Don't overfill your cupcake liners with the batter. And so I've already preheated our oven to 350 degrees. And these will take about 20 minutes. Just judge it. Once they've been in the oven for about a good 15 to 20 minutes, you can pull them out, use a toothpick through the middle. And as long as it comes out clean, then they're done. All right, so here are our finished cupcakes. It took about 22 minutes for these to bake, but I stuck a toothpick through the middle of one of them. It came out clean, so we are done. And so what we're gonna do now is start working on our frosting, and we're gonna allow these to cool off. Right, so the first step to making this frosting is to melt our white chocolate. And so what I have here is some premium white chocolate chips. And we're going to put these white chocolate chips into the bowl and we're going to warm them up in the microwave at 15-second intervals. So after each 15 seconds, we'll take the bowl out, stir it, and then put it in to the microwave and warm it up. And so you're going to repeat this until the white chocolate chips are fully melted. All right, so here is our melted white chocolate. And so it is pretty warm right now. And so what you want to do is go ahead and put this to the side and allow your white chocolate to cool. It may take up to 15, well, about 30 minutes for it to fully cool. You want to make sure that it fully cools before adding it into your frosting. And so we'll be back once we start on our frosting. All right, so let's get started on this frosting. And so the first thing you want to do is take your 4 sticks of unsalted butter and place those inside your stand mixer. And so it's very, very important that you make sure that your butter is at room temperature. I recommend putting the butter out overnight before you want to bake. That just ensures that it's going to be room temperature and it's going to be a lot easier to mix. And so what we're going to do is close our stand mixer up and turn this on to a high speed. Please forgive me, my stand mixer was actually unplugged. All right, so then we're going to turn it on to high speed and let this go for about a good 4 minutes so that the butter can really cream and get soft. So we'll be back when we start to add our powdered sugar. All right, so it's been about 4 minutes, and so our butter has creamed for the most part. And so we're going to turn off our stand mixer and we're gonna give it a check. And so as you see, the butter is of a pale white color. It's been creamed, and so we're gonna scrape down the sides of our bowl. And now it's time to add in our white chocolate. And so it's very important that you've allowed the white chocolate to cool prior to adding it to the butter, because if you don't, even if the white chocolate is slightly warm, it will melt your butter and it will destroy your frosting. And so just be patient, trust the process, and then once the white chocolate is fully cooled, you can add that in to your creamed butter. And so we've already done that. And so we're going to close this back up and we're going to allow this to mix for about another 2 to 3 minutes. All right. So it's been about 2 minutes and we've allowed our butter and our white chocolate to cream. And as you see, it's very creamy, it's very light. And so that's the consistency that we're looking for. So we're gonna scrape down the sides of our bowl. And what I have in this bowl here, this white mixing bowl, is 7 cups of powdered sugar. So I've already measured that out. And so what we're gonna do is add in 1 cup of sugar and then allow that to mix in. And we're gonna repeat that process until all of our powdered sugar is incorporated. And so as you see here, I added in that 1 cup and it's mixed in. And so what I'm gonna do is turn our stand mixer off, and then we're gonna add in our 2nd cup. And we're also gonna make sure that you're scraping down the sides of your bowl. And so we're gonna repeat this process until all of our sugar is incorporated. Trust the process; it will get very heavy. Your stand mixer will slow down from time to time, but that's to be expected. All right, so we've incorporated all 7 cups of our powdered sugar into our butter and white chocolate. Now, as you can see, our frosting is very dense right now. So before we start adding in our heavy whipping cream, we're going to add in our flavorings. And so right here, I'm adding in 1 tablespoon of vanilla bean paste. All right, so we've added that in. And then we're going to go in with a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I actually forgot my vanilla extract was on the counter behind me right here. And so let me get that. All right, so here's the pure vanilla extract. I'm gonna add in 1 teaspoon of that. And then now we're gonna add in our peppermint extract. Now, just a point of caution, peppermint extract is very potent, it's very strong. And so you only would need 1 teaspoon of that extract in this recipe. All right, so now that we've done that, we're gonna add in just about maybe a teaspoon or so of heavy whipping cream, and then we're gonna turn our stand mixer on and start allowing this to loosen up. And so it may be a little hard for your stand mixer to mix right now, but that's where you're gonna continue to add in your heavy whipping cream until it gets to that consistency that you're looking for. All right, so we'll be back once this is done. All right, so white chocolate peppermint buttercream frosting is done, and as you can see, it is the exact consistency that we're looking for. It's fluffy but yet firm enough to pipe onto these cupcakes. And so I've already done my taste test. I used probably in total maybe around 5 to 6 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream to get it to this consistency. You just want to make sure that it's not going to be too runny. And so what I have here is our piping bag and our piping tip. And so we'll be back once we start to pipe this frosting onto the cupcakes. All right, so I've already put some of the buttercream frosting into the piping bag, and I've already piped at least 1 cupcake as of right now. And so I am in no way, shape, or form a decorator when it comes down to cakes or cupcakes, anything like that. I do hope to get better at it. This is a pretty simple design here. I'm doing what I call a double swirl, and so I'm just starting to swirl the frosting, starting on the outsides and then working my way inward. And so, as you see here, I kind of start on the at the edge and then work my way to the middle, and then I kind of bring it and top it off in the middle. And so, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this for each of our cupcakes here, and then we'll come back when we're adding in our sprinkles and our finishing touches. All right, family. So as you can see, I've already finished frosting all of our cupcakes. And so what I'm going to do now is finish decorating them with these Christmas themed sprinkles. And so just a point, well, just a note I want to make here is that once you frosted your cupcakes, go ahead and add the sprinkles on right after. Just because if you allow the frosting to sit too long, it's going to get kind of firm and then the sprinkles are not going to stick to them. And as you can see here, I kind of had to go back through the cupcakes to add the sprinkles because they were kind of just falling off. And so just keep that in mind, especially since there is white chocolate included in this frosting. Like any other chocolate, when it gets cold, it's going to kind of get a little bit more firm. And so just keep that in mind while you're decorating. So what I'm going to do is finish decorating all these cupcakes, and we are pretty much done. All right, family. So here's the finished product. These cupcakes are absolutely delicious. The nice, moist vanilla bean cupcake topped with the sweet and minty peppermint white chocolate frosting. It's absolutely creamy. It's really good. And so this you can use this recipe for Christmas or for any time of the year. And so as a reminder, the instructions and the recipe will be in the description box. Thank you all for watching. Once again, we want to say thank you for watching this episode of King's Creations with Nick here on Monarch Entertainment Studios. We really appreciate all your love and support. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, from our family to yours, we want to wish you a happy New Year's. May you have a blessed and prosperous 2026. As a reminder, the recipe will be in the description box. And until next time, good night from the Queen City.